All right, man, new week, new topics to tackle, man. It is time to believe the hype with our homegirl, Legally Hype. And let's start off with America's problem child, Kanye West, who has been kicked off of social media platforms at this point. He's severed a lot of business ties. And now he's been kicked out of a bank. And he's a billionaire. Can they do that?
Okay, so boom, yeah, that's their establishment, right? So you have to think about the fact that if it's a Jewish-owned bank and you just put out anti-Semitic tweets, right, saying negative things about Jews, like you're going to turn up on the Jews, they can absolutely remove you from their establishment.
But is that like reverse discrimination, though?
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I want to know.
Is it reverse discrimination for the bank to kick somebody out because of their belief or views?
That's what it's given, child.
But they own it. They own it. So if you come to my house and you say something crazy to me that I don't appreciate,
I could kick your ass out.
I could kick you out of my house.
Uh-huh.
Period. Like you came and disrespected me in my house, so I don't have to let you sit here and eat. So okay, you out.
So there's no way he could sue them or nothing? Like, listen, I did freedom of speech. I said what I was trying to start a conversation because that's his narrative, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to start a conversation. And they just illegally kicked me out. I did nothing wrong. I didn't do fraud. I didn't do nothing. Can he sue them?
Okay, so boom, you got to look at the clause in his contract when he even signed up with that bank account, right?
Because they already knew. They like, Yeezy, let's alter this a little bit.
Right, so let's start there first and foremost. And then when you think about freedom of speech and your First Amendment rights, it depends on if you're in a public space or if you're in a private space, right? So when you're in private institutions, the rules are different, right? And
you got no right.
They could do a little bit more, right? So they could say, no, that's not cool. We don't like it. And so we don't have to let you be here. In addition to that, they gave you a time frame to like handle your business, move all your stuff out the way.
But I've said I hate my bank while being in my bank to the people that I bank with, and they've never kicked me out of the bank.
Okay, but if you owned a bank and somebody came in there and said, I'm finna turn up on all the Negroes.
Right? It just sounds funny.
Ultimately, he has no legal recourse in this matter. There's nothing he can do. He just has to bank somewhere.
It depends, right? So again, I haven't seen the contract that he signed to bank, right? We don't exactly know why they severed ties, right? They just said you got to go. So there was probably some other communication, prior to that. And so with that being said, it just depends on how that conversation went. Most likely, no, right? Because we don't have to allow you to bank here. And they probably don't really need a reason to say you can't bank here no more. Like, you get denied for credit cards all the time, right? Like there are different levels, and they could be like, no, we don't want you here.
You know what's crazy about this? This is not just his personal money. This is his company's money. So you know how many billions of dollars they're walking away from having in their bank just because of tweets? I thought y'all said social media wasn't real now. Well, something else that went down. And so I was watching my Raiders play the other night, and some things went down. Now, Devante Adams, not Devante Swing, no relation. He put his paws on the camera guy. Now, apparently, the camera guy jumped out in front of him. The Raiders had just lost. He was a little upset, and he decided to push the cameraman just a little bit. He allegedly. He tripped backwards over his foot, and Devante apologized at the press conference on Twitter and everything. But now this man is showing up with a cast, a neck brace. His arm and wrist and neck is broke. Ezel, my neck, my back, my neck and my back.
Oh, I love it.
So what's going on here in this case? Should he get in trouble? Is he going to get in trouble?
Okay, so boom. So he has been hit with a misdemeanor assault.
What?
Yeah, misdemeanor assault.
Did y'all see this push?
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like he could have offered him season tickets. I feel like there was a way around it.
Well, he works there, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't need the season tickets.
Maybe season tickets to the WNBA version of the game. I don't know.
That wouldn't push that door open. Do you hear me the way that he pushed that guy?
That dude was made of paper plane material, the way he fell.
But you gotta think this is an athlete, right? A football player. Like, they got different
we go. This must be his lawyer. This must be his lawyer.
Are you campaigning?
The strength behind the push, right? Like, it's
the adrenaline pumping after the game.
It's like you put your hands back and then you push them forward. That shows intent, right? Like, you intentionally did that, right?
But he ran up on him.
Okay, but you could have ran up on me and slid to the left.
Because there's a lot of people who have been. You never have any form of PTSD from things that have happened to you in your life where certain reactions make you react a certain way.
I don't admit to any crime.
Okay.
Like, no, but I
Smoke
mean,
like
like,
true lawyer?
tackle, push. Right? Like, it looked like he was coming to tackle him. So the first thing you're going to do is push, no?
Okay, so boom, but you are a professional football player. So
That's why you not to touch me. Don't touch me.
Okay, and you know how to slide and dip and slide, move to the left, right? You know how to spin, get out the way. You see that impact coming, and you make a valid decision. If you're gonna put your hands on somebody who does not have on a uniform, who's way smaller than you, right? Who is not paying attention to what's going on, really, like they're not expecting that type of contact with somebody, and you move forward with that, right? Like there were so many other options is the thing. Like if I'm a victim or if I'm, allegedly.
Lord, that man hit the floor like on his butt and just nothing. It was, but the memes. The memes take the cake for me. The guy rolled all the way down a hill in one of them. It was Kevin Durant in a hospital bed.
Oh my God.
They said he got a whiplash, he got a headache, and a possible concussion.
Sir.
It sounds like the dude is choach.
He
man.
has a concussion.
He's soft, man. Yeah.
Head crack. He did not hit his head. We watched that video mad times.
He fell on the floor.
Oh my God.
He had the little thing in his hand too. You never know. It could have just. You gotta watch the tape from different angles because sometimes what you see is not really what it is, right? That's why you have evidence. That's why we look at all the tapes. We look at all the angles. We talk to witnesses and see who saw what because you don't know.
This is scary.
You don't know.
This is scary to me because now I feel like people just gonna be walking around trying to jump and run in front of players or artists or whatever to get $1.
I remember historically when what's my man Dennis Rodman kicked that cameraman on the sideline.
Well, kicking is a little different, no?
But he didn't that was way harder than what happened to my man, and he didn't talk about like, oh, I got all these putative damages and like I'm in a coma now.
I can't believe he has a concussion.
Okay, so boom, but if you weren't expecting it, right, and it just caught you off guard. So imagine like you run up on me and you wasn't expecting. Maybe you was just a fan. Hey, what's going on? And you weren't expecting that impact. What if you tripped? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wait. What about personal space? Don't we have a certain amount of space we're allotted?
Okay, well, was he doing his job?
Being in his face?
Perhaps.
I mean, everybody's been on high alert since the Will Smith slap. You
That's
don't know
a fact.
what people are
You don't
coming
know
out
what's
of the
happening.
rafters to do.
I agree with you. Head crack.
You know?
Okay, so how much do you think he could see out of this whole incident?
Okay, so but he's not gonna see that much, right? That's the reality. So you got to look at the damages, right? Like what type of injuries he has, right? Like Tylenol is $8.99, right? Then the little sling was probably about $12.
Okay.
It probably costs you more to go file the complaint than anything.
Yeah.
So you'll probably get that back. So really, like if he were to actually go to court, it'd probably be a couple $1,000s, if that, because you got to add up the damages. Like, where were you hurt? Like, what injuries did you get? And then how much did it cost you? Are you losing money? Can you not go to work? Right? Like, things like that.
I got an idea.
What's that?
What he need to do is join forces with him and get like a NIL, right? And then he could get shirts that say "push it," and then it'll have Devante on it and with the number.
Yep. Pusha T could do the jingle for the
Push
song.
it, T.
You know what I'm saying?
Push it, T. You get what I'm saying? It could be over the Push and P beat. I think we got it.
Or maybe salt and peppers in the background.
You get what I'm saying? Doing the
Ah.
Push it dance.
You need to get your 10% for that whole
I
idea,
think 15.
too. Okay.
So I charge a little
I'll
more
try
than
to
that.
get you 20.
Okay, cool.
Let's do it.
Let's
I
keep
like
it
how
with
we
the sports
hustling.
people, right, Craig?
Last but not least, talk about Ben Gordon, man.
Lord.
Like when we play games, we sometimes like it when we beat our kids, but he's literally beating his kid. And allegedly he had a restraining order, and he wasn't even supposed to be with that kid or traveling with that kid. What are we looking like for Ben Gordon?
Okay, so boom. So now you are endangering children, right? On top, this is a child abuse case, and you did it in an airport. So that's even worse because you think about airport, like that's federal. You're traveling and stuff like
The
that.
kid is actually here.
Yeah, and he's whining over there because his head hurts,
Right.
just like the cameraman. No, but so I'm confused because, all right, clearly this is a 10-year-old child. Had to get approval from the mother to even be able to be with him, get on a plane or anything like that. I didn't see kidnap charges here, right? So if he had a restraining order since 2018 and the mother is still allowing him to take this child, knowing that he puts his hands on him, what about the mom?
Okay, so boom. So we don't really know what the like what is in that restraining order, right? Like who is the guardian? Because at this point, I think it sounded like the auntie had him or something like that, right? Or at least the auntie took the kid to the hospital. So we have to look at, okay, is the restraining order up, right? Because maybe he did have one initially, and maybe it has expired now. Which maybe this was your first visitation back with your kid, and now you didn't cut up once again, right?
Right.
So that's a thing. The other issue is like he already got assault, charges and stuff pending with that. So that's going to be a problem. But once you put your hands on kids, like, and you endanger kids in public where people can see you, now you're in a whole different space. Like,
so does this go to court? And like the woman that called, like the American Airlines employee, she would have to go and testify that she's seen him hitting the child?
Okay,
like, how does that work?
She may, right? So it depends on where this goes in terms of if they do go to court and how they handle it, because obviously he went to jail, he bailed out, right?
Yeah.
So if they proceed with criminal charges and say it goes to trial, right, then she could potentially have to come in and testify because she is the person who, saw the incident, and I believe she made the complaint.
Yeah.
Right? So she could be considered a witness in this case.
So I asked that because, remember, the girlfriend, Ashley Banks is her name. She said that it was a Karen that was just basically recognized him and was just lying on him, that this never happened. He never put his hands on the child. So now it's like her word against theirs.
Okay, so boom. Yeah, and them cameras. That's in the airport, right? Like, that's going to be a whole nother thing, too. Were there any other witnesses? That kid, right?
Yeah.
Did the kid get
he
hit
probably
in the
scared
face?
to say something. He got punched for dropping a book. What you think gonna happen if he tell on his dad?
I mean, so like, how soon do you think it'll be before like this footage starts surfacing? Do you think we gotta wait for this thing to go to trial before we can see this and be triggered by it, or do you think they're gonna hold on to it till they're in court?
Okay, so boom, it's going to depend on who got access to that camera, right? Because you got to think, like, we just saw the whole thing with old boy from the Golden State from Warriors, right? That just leaked couple days after they did it, so it just depends. Whoever is up in that office that got access
Draymond,
to it,
punching,
right? So whoever got access to it, it could potentially leak, right? You never know. Things happen all the time. Things slip through the cracks, and then we see it all over the internet and be like, oh, who did that, right?
Yeah.
If he has attorneys, if this is like going to be a serious matter, then his attorneys will probably try to make sure that like nobody gets access to it. But the reality is like you really don't have no control over that sometimes.
And then you don't even have the NBA's protection no more because you don't play no more, so you just free falling out here.
You got too many assaults in the back. Like you didn't already got something with this kid, right? So who is going to protect you? Like one thing people don't play about is kids.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
I think Lamar Odom has his next opponent at celebrity boxing. I'm just saying.
Right.
Like I said, take that bitch to jail. You putting your hands on a 10-year-old, like you're a coward.
You deserve the fate.
Come on, and you had the restraining order since 2018, which means that kid was what?
6?
Yes.
Like disgusting. He should rot.
Like punching him in the face. That's
oh my God.
I mean? Like you could punish your kid because. Like,
I'm like, hold on a second.
Right?
I just want to let you know we got cameras in here. I just want to let you know it's for your protection.
You can punish your kid, but
Benner Gordon over here. You watch out. Look,
now,
he's like me.
L'Oreal, your legal team now.
But like punching your kid in the face is a whole.
That's crazy.
Like you could barely whip your kids these days. Like, I know when I was coming up, my mom used to do a little.
That's it.
Get the little
twist
pinch.
the little time.
Yeah, but
pinch.
you can't punch your kid in the airport.
There it is, man. One time for Legally Hype.
Woo!
Thank you.
We are the morning hustle.